and welcome to Get Celebritized. I'm your host, Aurea McGarry, and I'm so excited to bring you amazing people to help you earn more so you can live more, live a big, vivacious, wonderful life, and so you can give back more to the causes, charities, and people that are the most important to you. So, without any further ado, let me bring on this amazing woman that talks about a very relevant topic. Her name is Dr. Jackie Black, PhD, board certified couples coach, relationship expert, and marriage educator. This is such a great topic now, especially post pandemic when so many relationships have gone awry. Not just because of that. We know marriage, love is easy, like she said, but marriage takes work. So let's bring her up so she can talk to us about this very important topic. Dr. Jackie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be with you today.
Oh, it's really good to have you here with us. This is such an important topic, and I want to dive right in. I know reading your bio, getting to know you a little bit as I did my research, that yeah, I love when you say love is the easy part. Marriage can be hard, it's work, but you were married and you lost your husband. Let's talk about that because I want people to know you personally a little bit before we dive into why they should listen to you, why you've got this expertise besides just being board certified and well educated in the realm. You have a personal experience in love and marriage and loss.
Right. I was once divorced and twice widowed.
Now, I did not know twice widow. Talk to us. Tell us a little bit about how that works into the relationship and what you're coaching and teaching these days.
When I was a psychologist in private practice, my subspecialty was grief and loss and life-threatening and chronic illness. And
Ah,
I worked in that field for a very long time. When my second husband, Gary Black, was diagnosed with cancer, my lived experience then got added to my education and to my work with clients. And there were so many things that I experienced that you can't learn without lived experience. And
mm.
after Gary died, I was alone. I never say I was single. It's so foreign. I just never spoke
What
about
do you mean?
myself single.
Yeah, what do you mean single and alone? Isn't it the same thing or not?
To me, it wasn't. You know, being a widow and being alone is very different. Being single just felt different. So I never talked about myself in terms of um, being single. Anyway, I was alone for many years, 16 years, until I met my third husband, Mark. And Mark and I were together only for 3.5 years, and he also died of cancer. Very,
This C word, this cancer, they've got to find a cure, Been around way too long, that's for sure.
way too long. And again, my experience with Mark was very different than my experience with Gary. They were different. Our relationship was different. And I was different with each of them. And I was older when I was married to Mark. And so that really added, and I know this is a funny word, but enriched my experience working with couples who are living with life-threatening and chronic illness and partners who are grieving.
So what
And
is your expertise that you love to teach on most? Is it like if people are going to call you, would it be best that your sweet spot is helping the couples through if they're going through something like that, an illness, and maybe they're having some hard times trying to cope with that? Or tell me, like, what is that? I know you deal with a lot of people, but the sweet spot to help people, because marriage takes a lot of dips and turns. You got newlyweds, you got in the middle, you got maybe you know, 40-year itch, all the different stages that marriages can go through is so different. Tell us kind of like your sweet spot on who you
it's
like to help
very,
best.
it's very different. You're right. And the way that I work with clients is that I listen to their story and I listen very deeply to where they are, what they want, what's missing. And then my sweet spot is developing and have over the years couple specific skills and tools and strategies, but they're couple specific, right? It's not cookie cutter. It's not the same stuff that you would do, that you would learn or you would implement in other kinds of relationships. And so that's why it doesn't matter to me what their issue is or where they are on the continuum. If they're newlyweds, married the first time, the second time, the third time, for 5 months, or for 35 years. Because what I do is help them. That's the difference between coaching and therapy. And why coaching and couples coaching is so powerful, because we listen to where clients are and where they want to be, what they want their relationship to look like. And then I help them to co-create that for themselves.
That's so good that you do this, because this is so needed. So what is the catalyst when people call you? What is the basis for somebody saying, I need to talk to somebody like Dr. Jackie Black? Do they get to like the end of their rope, or is it better to come to you when they're doing well and they want to make sure they're well equipped for the storms?
Yes, and yes. People wait way too long. They think they can do it themselves. They think if they just work harder or try harder. And the fact is that we can get where they want to go so much faster when they're not in so much pain and they're not at the end of their rope. They're not hopeless. They're not disconnected. When I talk to couples about being connected, it's like a continuum. And the continuum is energetic, right? And if you think about a continuum and you're at the zero, at the midline, then it's out infinity to each end. One end is intimacy. The other end is alienation. And you never want to get to the center place. You want to stay in the half of the continuum between intimacy and half the space to the midline. That's the place where people get aha moments. It's like popcorn happening. They can implement faster, they heal faster if there are hurts, deep wounds, resentments, betrayals. Once people get past the midline or they get further along toward alienation, then it takes longer and there's more work to do, because they have to work through resentment, hurt feelings, trust. Does that make sense?
It makes absolute sense. Have you ever gotten a couple that you really just know that it's beyond help? It's too late. This is beyond repair. Or have you ever had one that you thought could have been beyond repair, but it did have a happy ending?
Yeah, no, I never think I know. The intake that I do is very specific, because I want to work with people who are respectful, who take responsibility. If they are not taking responsibility for what they have co-created, that's a problem for me. So because we have everything that we created. If you want to change, I want to know where partners think they are and where they want to go. This will surprise you. One of the first questions I say to couples is, what would you like to be different? How would you like this to be? And I get blank stares. People know what they don't want. People know what they don't like. But it takes some couples, most couples actually, a little bit of time in the conversation to really identify and to bring language to what they want. And you can't create what you want until you know what you want. So go ahead.
No, that's interesting, because a lot of people, it's so funny. People know what they don't want more than what they want, or vice versa. Do you feel it's helpful if you get this? This is like a loaded question. Do you feel it'd be helpful, and do you do this, help people before they get married? Like, I always thought there needs to be more coaching and training and teaching this to our teenagers, to our young adults in college, because so many, I know I fell into this trap. I'm getting married to someone that thought, oh, they'll change with time. I can help fix them, right? Oh, they won't be jealous and control like this. Once they get to know me, go ahead and marry them. Everything will be better. And that Pollyanna type of thinking gets a lot of women and men probably in trouble as well when you're thinking it'll get better down the line. But there's no coaching, there's no teaching, there's no training in this world on this. For the young people, they're either doing what they saw their parents do or aunts and uncles and just becoming a person that emulates what they saw or going completely against what they saw. Like if they saw, their parents divorced and just terrible, then they never want to get married because that's all they saw. So what say you in helping educate before people make this supposedly lifelong decision that can cause so many bumps and bruises along the way if not done right?
Premarital coaching is so powerful, and it's just the last couple of years that they have been keeping statistics, and this is a fabulous statistic. The divorce rate among people who have done premarital coaching is down 68%. Down 68% because they have a context of stepping into relational space. They have a context for skills and tools and strategies, when to apologize, how to receive an apology, right? What to do with your anger, how to communicate when you're upset or when you're hurt, how to talk about money. And so
this is so good. This is so good because most people have more training to go get a job out of school, out of high school, out of college, and know how to put together the resume and be good on the job and all of that. And there's absolutely no training for parenting, I've always said, and or marriage skills, where it's so easy to be ruled by your heart, get in the love, the hormones, everything's going wonderful. But then the life skills that it takes to
and relationship skills,
all those things. And what?
And relationship skills.
Relationships, absolutely. And just what you said, how to know that the woman is always right. No kidding. Just, but kidding aside, how to be able to apologize, how to say you're sorry. Nobody is right all the time. And when you can say you're sorry, it's important. And we don't throw away our kids. Our kids go through good times, bad times. All that relationship is always there. So to have that skill set for the spouse too, when you are right for each other, but maybe you're just hitting a bumpy road, how to keep it going when you're right for each other. There's a difference when you're not meant and it's totally just wrong. So on that platform, do you ever know when something just isn't right and they just should not be together?
No, I never think I know anything. I get all of my information from clients and then I give them my best not advice, but feedback about where they are. I make a lot of suggestions. I teach a lot of strategies. I have them practice. So they decide. And after they do this work, and it doesn't take very long, they begin to see where the problem areas are. And they can begin to appreciate the stuff that they love and that's working, right? The cloud kind of lifts. And it's not all bad. It's not all upset and pain and heart hurt. Because people learn how to be open-hearted and vulnerable. And if you're always hurt, or if you're feeling like you're hurt all the time, or he or she isn't listening to you, you're not being heard, you're not being regarded, then your heart begins to close. And in order to keep that energy, that continuity of energy, you have to be open-hearted and vulnerable. And that's where great sex happens. Sex does not happen when people are shut down emotionally. It just doesn't.
Right. For sure. What is your best advice? If you could give like your top 3, 5, whatever tips to relationships, to people that are in a relationship and they've hit some tough patches, I should say. What are some of the first tips you give them to help them take those steps, whether they ever meet you or not, that could help them move past or through some hard times they may be going through now?
So the first thing I would say is to make physical contact 3 times a day, right? Even if you just put your hand on somebody's shoulder or a squeeze on your way by the room, some kind of physical contact. It doesn't have to be hugging and kissing, depending on how disconnected people are, but to engage in physical contact 3 times a day. That's the first thing. The second thing is to decide what you want to hear from your partner. What can your partner say that will let you know that you matter, that they care about you, and that you're loved? And that might be, I'm so glad you're here. I love coming home and knowing you'll be here. You do so much for our family, and I don't think I tell you that enough. So, but you have to sit down with each other and talk about, what are the things that I want to hear? What can you say to me that would make me feel and believe that you care about me and that I matter?
Is it kind of like knowing each other's love language, like taking time to find out what their love language is?
No, I don't believe in love languages. I know that that's a lot of people are going to go, ugh. Love languages is a very small, how can I say this, aspect of the bigger picture that I'm trying to help couples step into. It's one-dimensional, and the work that I do is three-dimensional.
What do you mean? Like if I'm talking love language, like what you were saying, finding out what makes that
Gary
person.
Chapman's love language. The
I'm
fact
sorry?
that I said, I believe you're talking about Gary Chapman's love languages. The
No.
five.
I don't know anything about it. I'm just saying, I'm using the word like in general, like that, what you were saying is like a love language where you're saying, this is what I need each day. This helps me to know, by getting a hug, by getting, saying I love you. That's somebody's love language. I don't know about the book, but just saying, is that kind of like a love language that you're showing, that we communicate with each other so we know what somebody needs, what versus what somebody doesn't need. Not everybody is affection and loving and needs a touch, but your partner may need that throughout the day. So is that kind of how people can understand it a little bit better?
So I like to think about it in terms of, how can I show up? What can I do? What can I say? Right? What can I do? What can I say? And is what I'm doing and what I'm saying matching what you need? Because I have to be involved and invested in who I am and show up in a way that matches for me. And so I want to know what that is first. And then I want to know what you need so that I can be me and show up as my best me in your presence for you.
That makes perfect sense. I got it. So I love these tips. Keep going. Is there any other tips that we need to know? Because this is such an important conversation that people need to listen. They need to lean in. They need to be able to take the time to know what matters to their spouse, their partner, whoever. And then I want to ask you a little bit about pre-marriage as well, as soon as we're done with a couple more of your tips, because these are good.
That would be my next tip, is listening. Listening is a skill. And you listen for three things. You listen for feelings, you listen for information, or you listen because you're going to offer feedback, not advice, feedback from your lived experience if your partner is asking for feedback. So learning how to listen and learning how to extend empathy. It's very important and hard for people to do, because we want to jump to the doing. I want to make you feel better, and I want to help you fix it. No. The very first thing we want to do is just listen and then extend empathy. I hear how hard that could be. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Did you have okay.
No, I was going to say, reminded me of that feel, felt, found that we did. I understand you feel, and it's just making that connection where people are listening. I always say God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth to listen twice as much as we speak.
Yes, and it deepens connection. And when you said lean in, physically lean in, tilt your head a little bit. Those are body language signs that let people know that you're really interested, that you're awake, you're present, you're really listening. Yeah. So that's listening. Speaking. Speak from the I position. I. Erase you from your vocabulary. I need, I want, I feel, I think, I prefer, I don't like this so much. I'm not comfortable with this or that. So there's 2 parts of this. I position, erase you, And stop asking your partner questions. Please stop asking your partner questions, including, what do you want for dinner? When people say, well, I'm very easygoing, whatever she wants is fine with me. No, that's hostile.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean stop asking questions? Why would you stop asking questions? Don't you want to know what makes them happy with dinner?
Nope. Nope. Stop asking your partner questions.
What should we do instead?
Yeah, because it's off-putting, and then the question sits in front of you. So if I want to go to dinner tonight, for example, I will say to you, I would love to go to dinner, and I'm thinking that I'd like a salad, but I could do Peruvian too. So I am showing up. I'm stepping in. You've got something to bump up against. I'm present. If I ask you a question in a vacuum, I'm not present. And it really does translate energetically and unconsciously to partners as hostility. Oh, anything you want. Yeah. Oh, anything you want. No, not anything I want. What do you want? Are you present? Are you participating? Such an important word, participating and contributing.
Well, what if somebody really means that? Like, whatever you want, because I know I'm really easygoing, and I'm happy if the other person is happy. Like, what do you feel like? So what's the alternative if you really do want them to be happy and you don't really have a preference? What is a better way to say that? Hey, let's think of a place to go. You know, I could eat anything right now. I'm not really having a craving. You're saying to be better with how we articulate it instead of just, oh, whatever you want. Kind of explain that.
You are not showing up if you defer to me. And if you don't have a preference, then how lovely is it to say, yeah, that sounds good to me. I'd be happy to have a Peruvian or go get a salad. Yep. Do you want to go? And we could go here or here. You're showing up. You're participating and contributing. You're giving your partner something to bump up against.
That's cool.
I don't care, you know, whatever you want. No, it's not whatever I want. We are co-creating in every moment. And if we take a pass in co-creating, then we're absent and our partner is in relational space by themselves.
Got it. So the key to this then, to wrap this little piece up in a nutshell, is don't come to your partner with whatever in that non-care, even though you may mean well, that you really, well, whatever. It's like you said, too hostile, I don't care. Versus if I were to come up and say something like, I'd love to go out to dinner. I'm easy tonight. What do you feel like? I could go for anything. What would you feel like? Is that a better way if you really don't have a hankering for it?
No, because if you don't have a hankering, you can always go for a hamburger, or you can know. I mean, I could eat Peruvian food.
Say something. All right. So don't leave it up to anything. Say
it signals your presence in relational space.
Interesting. Okay. So say, let's go out to dinner. I could go for a hamburger, or I could go for fish. What would you like?
Or I don't want this or this or that. Or I don't want to go here because I don't want to deal with the parking.
Gotcha. So just be present. Interesting. What else can we be aware of being present? Because that was a really good aha, because most people don't even think twice about that. They think, well, I'm being good, I'm being easygoing. But really you're saying you're being negative and being hostile. What else is a misconception that the average couple could be doing, thinking they're okay, but they're really not?
This one is a really great one.
Oh, good.
When couples are, generally it's one person, and often, sorry ladies, it's the lady, it's the wife or the female partner.
Okay.
Who says, you never take out the trash, walk the dog, blah, 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 right? There's a whole list.
Right.
It's never the problem. Did I say never? Never the problem. The problem is she's not feeling the participation. She's not recognizing the contribution. And so the left brain says, oh, here it is. He's not, or she's not in some cases, right? The left brain gets involved, and the left brain has no business being in our love relationships, unless we're talking about money. Uh, right. And the left brain thinks it's helping by saying, oh, wait, I know what this is. No, what this is the intangible connection. And there's a real absence of contribution, participation. That is what we're talking about. That's like gold.
So if a woman's feeling that way, which probably every woman's felt that way at one point. Like, oh, if they could only take out the garbage or only help with the dishes or take out the dog. All right. So if a woman's feeling that, what is the best way to address the real problem and to rectify that her feelings are valid, but how to get the right feelings out so that does get done and they feel whatever it is we're supposed to feel?
Exactly. I have a client named Holly, and she and her husband worked with me for a while. And I write about Holly in lots of different places and with their permission, just because I want to be clear. So Holly was feeling like her husband wasn't showing up. He wasn't there. They're both entrepreneurs. He is a serial entrepreneur and always has a lot of fingers and a lot of pies and is busy, 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 busy. And she was just feeling like he wasn't seeing her and wasn't caring and wasn't there. And intellectually, she knew that wasn't true. So she took a step back and she said, what is going on with me? Not with him. What is going on with me? I need something. What do I need? And she took some time and did self-reflection. And I teach all couples to do self-reflection, personal reflection, and then couple reflection. So in her personal reflection, she recognized that she really wanted to have coffee one morning and lunch in the middle of the week, right? When she really dropped down into her druthers, as my grandmother used to say. So she said to him, I'd like to have a conversation. There's some things that I've just discovered about myself that I would love to share with you. So they sat down, they made a time. That's another tip I'll give you in a minute. So they scheduled a time to sit down and talk, a time where they were both free and available to really listen open-heartedly and vulnerably. And she said, what I would love is to have coffee time just for 15 or 20 minutes one morning before we go off in our different directions. And I would love to have lunch out, like on a Wednesday or a Thursday every week. What do you think? How does that sound to you? And he was so excited about that because he was missing her too, but he didn't sort of recognize it or put language around it. And that is often true. If one person is feeling something in a relationship, you are not alone. You are in a relationship, and it's highly likely that you're both experiencing it. If you're unhappy, believe that your partner is unhappy too. That one person is not happy and excited,
Two ways,
and satisfied being in a relationship, and the other partner is dissatisfied and unhappy.
That's such a good point to make, that you're not alone. If you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling, not happy, you're not hiding it from your partner. They're feeling the same way, but you just nobody's talking about it. So this is really good. Reminds me, Dr. Jack, you appreciate this. A love story that I just love, that I don't know if you remember Mary Kay Ash. I did Mary Kay for 20 years. And I just love Mary Kay as a woman, as a person. And she would always tell us about her, and it's in many of her books, about her third husband, that I think it was her third husband, because she was a widow too as well, twice. And she would tell us about how ever since they met, every Thursday, because they met on a Thursday, this is so romantic. They met on a Thursday, and her husband gave her a gift every Thursday for the entire years. They were married for years and years and years. Don't quote me, I don't remember offhand, but it's like 20 years or whatever. Every Thursday without fail, she got a gift from him. And what she would say was the most important. Some Thursdays, it could have been a piece of jewelry, a diamond, something really expensive. Other Thursdays, it could be a Hallmark card that just says, I love you. Other Thursdays, it was a package of peanut brittle, which he knew was her favorite sweet. So it was like, sometimes it was just something so little and didn't cost a lot. Other times it was more extravagant, but it was Thursdays because they met on Thursday and he never missed it. And I guess that just to me, what say you about that? What does that say in a marriage when that is something that that he did without thought, without somebody saying, "Oh, I'd love to get a gift every Thursday." It's what does that say to you?
That says that he is present. He is all in. And she was present because she received it. That's the other very important part of getting something or giving, is to receive. And it's very hard for many people to receive. When Mark used to go play golf, he was a golfer. He was in the golf business, and he played golf 4 or 5 times a week. Not on Sundays. We played together on Sundays. And he would come back from the club with an Arnold Palmer for me, and he'd put it on my desk. Sometimes he'd tiptoe in if I was on the phone, or if I was right, because he saw the pictures of lemonade and iced tea sitting there, and he made one, and he brought it to me. When I would pass his office, we shared a wall in our offices. He would turn. He was tall, and he had a big executive leather chair, and he would turn his chair around and sort of show me his lap, and he would say, "Step into my office." And that would mean, come sit on my lap and give me a hug.
Aww.
Sometimes he would come into my office and he would extend his hand, and I knew what that meant, and I would stand up, and then we would do a little bit of a dance, and then he would dance out the door.
Aww. Oh.
He was so dear. Those are the little things that we do and say with each other, for each other. And the message is, let me move back in my chair. And the message is, I'm all in. I'm present. I'm here. I see you. You matter. I feel seen.
And it reminds me of like having that secret handshake with your best friend or somebody where you just got that secret handshake. It's like, sit on my lap, you knew what that meant. Or that little dance with that secret handshake. And it's those moments that matter. It's not always that long conversation or that week getaway to the Caribbean. It's those little moments you capture on a Tuesday that matter.
Exactly right. The little moments, they're like snowflakes. And all of a sudden you have a snowdrift.
I love that. I love that. Oh, that's so good. All right. As we have to kind of wrap up the conversation, such an important conversation, Dr. Jackie. And I've got your website here, drjackieblack.com, where people can email you, connect with you, read a lot of great information on your website as well. Tell us in a nutshell, people always want to know those don'ts. I mean, just people can get those don'ts. So if you give us some do nots right now, as we kind of wrap this up, give us some never ever should you ever do maybe some of these things so they can at least avoid the trappings of going down the wrong rabbit hole in their marriage, whether they're doing really well right now, whether they're in the middle of some storms themselves.
These are hard. I know they're hard. And you may decide that you want professional help to really get these done. And I'm certainly here to help you and support you. Don't criticize. Just don't. It's poison. Don't blame. Blame is the number one defense process. Don't do it. Take responsibility for your part. Let's see. Don't criticize. Don't blame. Don't be disparaging. Right? Don't call names. It hurts people's hearts. And if what we're trying to co-create is open-heartedness and vulnerability with each other so that we can be in that yumminess more and more and more and more of the time, then you want to be really clear about the behaviors that don't forward that and actually hurt that or poison that.
What about...
And the last one would be, don't complain. Don't complain. There are ways to articulate and to share things that aren't matching for you, things that aren't going the way you want them to. But complaining is never going to get you where you want to go.
Yeah, no kidding. What about the other C word? Don't compare.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Yeah, and with social media, I want to tell you that is a huge challenge for a lot of people because they see what people want them to see. Don't forget that. And then they do compare. And guess what? When we compare, we always come up short. So don't compare. think about what you need and want. And if you have what you need and want, and if you don't, what's missing? Not what's wrong. What's missing? And again, it's easy to say what's wrong. That's not going to get you where you want to go either. What's missing? What do you want that you don't have? What do you want more of? What do you want less of?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, I'm so glad your website is up here. What is the key thing on your website that you're so glad is up there to help people when they go there, drjackieblack.com? What is that star piece that people could tap into? Do you have a resource, a group, a book, a masterclass, something where they could just immediately get some instant help with you?
The website is designed to help people understand how to work with me. And there's 3 easy steps. I love that part of it. And there are call to action buttons that are talk buttons all over. And when you click on that, it takes you directly to my Acuity scheduler so that you can make an appointment and talk to me this week.
Nice.
And
nice.
then you go to the contact page and connect with me on email also. So I'm very available. And the reason that I have the scheduler button is because I want to talk to people. I don't want to give people a lot of static information. Look, we have the internet and we have more than enough static information. I don't want to add to the noise. I want to have a conversation with people who are serious about taking a look at what's going on and making some changes.
And what's one or two key pieces of advice you could give the couple that are not married yet? Is there a red flag that you would want people that are dating that is just a red flag they either need to address or know that this is not the path to go down? I know it's not stagnant, there's no big generalization, but is there something that is a red flag that they should know about to either address or maybe know this might not be the path to go on, might not be I want to say soulmate, but you know what I'm saying? That is there a red flag or a couple of red flags that they should really be aware of before they say, oh, we'll just, that'll work itself out. We'll just get married. It'll work itself out.
Yeah. Temperament. There are 3. There's there's values, style, and temperament.
What was the second one? What was the second one?
Style.
Okay.
I'll give you a short story. So when I was dating, before I met Mark, someone invited me to a wine tasting, and I met someone, and he said, why don't you come over to my house on Sunday and we'll watch the tennis match? I said, great. So I had on slacks and a linen camp shirt because I'm very formal. You can tell, very tightly wrapped. And so I drove my car over and I got out with, and sandals, slacks and a linen camp shirt and sandals, right? He opened the door in sort of semi-swimming trunks, with the elastic waist and a tank top. No one understood.
Oh. Okay.
And right. And he said,
shirt, right?
Seriously? And he said to me, before he said hello, it's nice to see you. Thank you for coming. No. He opened the door and said, well, why are you so dressed up? I knew in that moment that he didn't appreciate my style, right? Mark would light up. He loved every time I'd walk into a room, he'd love this. He'd love
you look beautiful. Yeah.
What, why are you so grumpy and so style? I'm not right. I'm not you'll be shocked to hear this. I don't camp.
Really?
Yeah. So why would I date somebody who loved to camp or a backpack or a hike or water ski? Or I'm a flea market person. Oh my God, I love the flea markets.
Lifestyle.
So style. That's style. Style, value, style, and temperament. Are you a morning person? Are you everybody has always said about me that I open my eyes and my mouth at the same time. So I'm up and I'm happy and I'm singing and I'm walking around the house. And, if you're a grumpy person that needs quiet and you can't open the blinds until you've had 2 cups of coffee, temperament. That's not the temperament. If you get irritated and aggravated in traffic, there's traffic. What city do we live in around the world where there isn't traffic? So, temperament, how do you deal with your outside existential world?
Yeah.
So those 3 things are very important, and they are intractable. They are not going to be any different. Values,
Really
style,
great advice.
and temperament.
Really great advice. I love that. It's so important. So we get people to lean into those and listen to that. It would, because I did not when I was in my 20s, and I really just thought, oh, they'll change, they'll get better. There's certain things, like you said, that just aren't changeable. And you have to have your non-negotiables. What is important to you? Like that style is important to you. It should be, because it makes that blend. And I remember, I put up a lot of Christmas trees in my house and stuff like that. And instead of somebody saying, oh, wow, those are beautiful, when they say, oh, that's too many, it's like, oh, whoa, because Christmas and the house and festivities is important to me. That love of life, that sparkle in your eye is so important. And you're not going to change that. Like, you weren't going to change that person from wearing the tank top, the shorts, and thinking, oh, you're too dressed up, instead of saying, wow, you look beautiful. Those things do matter, and they don't change. So really good advice. Really good advice. We need to teach us more in the youth, the high schools, the colleges, and help people really know. Don't try to change each other, male or female. Don't think things are going to get better if they're just not. And try not to listen to all the hormones and everything that's going on for that sexual attraction when you first start out. If you're thinking about getting married or spending your life with somebody, really think about these things that will matter long term. I remember I always told my daughters, find somebody that would be with you. And we've had a lot of cancer in our life. My mom died of cancer. She had it twice. My brother had cancer. I had cancer. And find somebody that will love you when and if you're bald, when and if you're 30 pounds underweight or 30 pounds overweight. It's that loving you through life. Will they be with you? Because I had a very dear friend of mine whose boyfriend left her when she was going through chemo. I mean, you really find out what people are made of when you go through life's battles. Would that person be with you during those times? Would you be with them? You've got to be a friend to have a friend. Be a good person to have good people in your life. And those things matter. So I'm going to give you the last word on that.
So when I was dating Gary Black, I canceled our second date because I was just having a bad cold. I just didn't feel good. And so I called him and I said, I'm so sorry. It was last minute. I said, I'm just not feeling well. And, I look forward to the next time that we can get together. And he said, feel better fast. About an hour later, there's a knock on the door. And he said, I had a large Bernese mountain dog, 130 pounds.
Love those.
Oh. I know. So he knocked on the door and he said, I thought I would come give Heidi a walk so that you don't have to go out tonight, and give her last right.
How thoughtful is that? Where you're not just coming over and saying, oh, let me bring you some chicken soup. It's like, let me walk your dog. You had me at hello on that one. I mean, the thought that took, that caring, and you win a person through either their stomach or their children or their pets anyway. That just, wow. I have 4 dogs, and I have to tell you, somebody that's in my daughter's life right now, such a great guy, just adore him. He did something like that where, I take out the garbage. I'm, bringing the garbage up, and that's great. And then the next day I'm noticing the garbage can's not out there. It's back. Like, what happened? And he just, without asking, without saying anything, without even mentioning it, brought the garbage can back in. And I was like, wow, for him to do that, I was just like, there's a keeper,
That was my thought, exactly.
There's the keeper, so kind, because people can, put on their best behavior and best moments, on dates and things like that. But when they do something out of the ordinary like that, that really shows you the character. And I'm just still in awe. I came over I thought you were going to say bring you some chicken soup or whatever, but to walk your dog, that it's yes, thank you, please. Because we don't feel good. We know what it's like to have to go out, whether it's cold or hot or whatever, to walk the dog. Right. I love that. Well, Dr. Jackie Black, give us now in a nutshell. I mean, I think that's a great place to end on that. But I want to ask you, that was this one final question, which I love to ask my guest is, life can be short, but life can be so meaningful as it should be. And I want to ask you, what is your legacy? What do you hope the world, your family, your community remembers you for when it's over, that they're able to say about you? What is that thumbprint, that footprint that you want to make on the world, your community, that is the most important to you? What is your legacy?
Yeah, I want people to know, to see that I live in integrity. They might not like me. They might disagree with points of view and opinions, but that they know that I am honest and that I live in integrity.
Well, you're doing just that. Dr. Jackie, this has been a pleasure. I hope everyone that is, whether you're struggling or not struggling, tap into Dr. Jackie Black on her website. Enjoy her wonderful, wonderful sense of help with couples. I think everybody at some point needs a little boost, needs a little extra help with relationships, because, life is a journey. Being married, dating, whatever, it's always a journey. And don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Get help if you're wondering, gosh, what am I doing wrong, or why isn't this gelling? Don't just throw it all away. Call Dr. Jackie or somebody like Dr. Jackie in your community to get some help. Because I always say you can't see the picture within the frame. It really, many times we need in our lives, no matter what the category is, to look at it from an outside point of view. So thank you, Dr. Jackie, for doing what you do and for helping so many couples.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be on your podcast. This has just been awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And until next time, I'm Aurea McGarry, signing off to help you earn more so you can live more. And this was all about living more, living a good, wonderful life with your relationships, and being able to help more and give back more. So thank you, Dr. Jackie, for being part of the live part of this show. Until next time, see y'all then on Get Celebritized. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Thank you, Dr. Jackie. Bye for now.